A new level has unlocked for you, my friend. And if you are seeing this, then you are ready for the fulfillment, the freedom, the abundance that is within and is waiting for you in the shift into this new level. But you might be hesitating because it's unknown, it's unfamiliar, it's uncharted territory. Because for the world, it's alien. And that's a part of what draws you towards it, because you recognize that the ways of the old, this old game that we've been playing, this previous level, is kind of boring. It's kind of run its course, right? And maybe there's one of two situations that you found yourself in. Perhaps you've realized and fulfilled and manifested many things, many beautiful things. And maybe every time you kind of get that next thing, it's like a little bit less fulfilling. And each time it's diminishing the returns, the fulfillment that you experience. And that's kind of exhausted itself. Or perhaps you're on the other side, which is you've been doing everything. You've been on track. You've been feeling like you're all in and committed, and yet nothing's kind of really working out. Like things don't seem to be falling into place, or you're not really getting the results that you would expect you to get based on how you feel and what you've been doing and what you know and the work that you've done. But both of these two scenarios that I describe here are actually the same position. And that's because they're bumping up into the boundaries, the upper limits of this previous game. Because the nature of the old game is sort of cause and effect. It's all outcome driven. It's looking for cues. It's looking for signs. It's looking for validation to know who you are, to feel the worth of who you are, to embrace all that you are. But you see, that whole paradigm is falling away, and that's what draws you to this new paradigm. Because in this new paradigm, you are the creator. You're not the receiver. You're not the victim. You're not the slave. You're not even the one who's being rewarded. You are at the source. And to be at the source in this new level requires a few keys, because the rules of this game have changed. And in truth, you, in this new level, write the rules. But in order to write those rules consciously, deliberately, intentionally, to be in alignment with who you truly are, you have to master these 4 keys. And the keys, simply put, are desire, intention, attention, and inspired action. And it is the conscious application of these 4 keys that allows you to be the creator. So sit back, relax, and let's shift into alignment with becoming the creator of this new level of the game. And before we start with the first key, we actually have to start with the foundation, which is always self-knowledge. For none of these 4 keys will be true and effective and powerful as they're meant to be if you don't know who you truly are. And in this, there's a couple of different points, which is that there is your sort of true self, your higher self, the self that is beyond just the senses. It is sort of invisible. It is inward. It is intangible. And to come into intuitive knowing of that inner self is to align with who you truly are. And on the other side of it, it is to know who you're being. It is to know your mind. It is to know your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, to become conscious of that which was unconscious, and therefore to be the creator of your own psyche, of your own state of being. That is the key. That is the foundation to being able to consciously, deliberately use these 4 keys to create your desired reality. And so that leads us into the first key, which, as I mentioned, is desire. And in this sense, we could replace it with an aspiration. Aspiration is something that emerges from a deep place within you. It is true. It is of your heart. It emerges out of your soul. And so it's not just simply an egoic want. It's not like an impulse from this lower self, which has things that it needs in order to satiate its hunger. This desire that I'm talking about is the highest priority of your spirit. It is the next level of the expression of who you are. It is the forging of your soul. And from that point of view, it comes directly from the source of who you are. Whether you want to call that God, whether you want to call that life, whether you want to call that the universe, it emerges, it originates, and therefore it initiates out of that source of your being. And so to know your desire is to know the first quality of yourself in this moment now. Because it is that next step, that next level, that unfolding of your soul into the expansion of the way that it wants to explore and experiment and evolve. And so that's the kind of desire that I'm talking about. It is a calling. It is a true inspiration. And to know that through the self-knowledge, which is the precursor, which is the foundation, is to come into great clarity with that which you truly want to create. And in that there is unbelievable amounts of energy, unseen resources, invisible, subtle, emotional guidance, which all emerges out of that desire to help you fulfill it. That leads me to the next point, which is intention. And intention in this sense is to be fully committed. It is a sort of posture. It is a sort of attitude. It is to be all in, to be fully invested in whatever is required, to be undivided in your consciousness as to what is the most meaningful thing for you right now. That's the nature of desire. It's sort of all-consuming. It's a kind of obsession in a way, because it is your whole being behind this movement in a certain direction. That is the intention. And so you can set the intention. You can declare your commitment to this desire, and it will be demonstrated. It will be validated through your effort, through your action, through your habits, through your activities, through your focus. And you see, that's the next key. Because after desire and the conscious intention to get behind that desire is attention. This is the determining factor, really. Because how often have you experienced having desire, having inspiration, telling yourself that now is the time, I'm going to do it. I'm going to set this course. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to follow through on this. And then tomorrow comes and you're distracted and you're giving your attention to the streams on social media and the feeds on your phone and on your computer, and you're looking around you at the news and you're giving cues to your circumstances and you're buying into the opinions of others and the negativity that's trying to bring you down, and your attention is being leaked in all the wrong directions. For the attention that I'm talking about is to turn that awareness, that consciousness back onto the truth of who you are, which is the creator of your reality, that immeasurably, immensely powerful I am. The fact that you exist, that truth of who you really are. And when you stop leaking that attention into things that are not in alignment with what you desire, not congruent with your intention, you see, you streamline your efforts, you streamline everything. You open up reservoirs of energy that you didn't seemingly have access to before by virtue of your scattered focus. And so this is really it. It's about cultivating the conscious concentration to bring all of you in line with your intention, behind your desire, so that each and every moment of each and every day, you know what you're aiming for. You know why you're doing it. You know that you're all in, and you know what's being called for. You know what is needed because your attention is focused on supporting and nurturing and following through on that desire. And that leads me to the fourth key, which is inspired action. And this is a different kind of action than the previous game. Because in the previous level, action was more cause and effect based, right? I'm going to do this for this outcome. I'm going to do this to earn this. I'm going to do this for the validation so that I can feel this sort of sense of worth, this sense of belonging, this sense of capability. But you see, we've gotten beyond that. So action in this realm, in this level, is all about inspiration. And you see the inspiration that comes from the focused attention behind your intention, behind your desire, is the emotional guidance. It is the intuition. It is the intelligence that's coming from the source of where that desire emerged out of. So it is like a breadcrumb trail from your higher self leading you down the path of least resistance to that desire being fulfilled in the most fun way, in the most fulfilling way, in the most adventurous, playful way. And all you must do is act on that the moment you receive it. And to act on that in just trusting in that process, taking it as far as the guidance is telling you to take it, and then through that receptivity, through that intuition, just knowing, based on your intention, based on your desire, through your attention, feeling when it's time for the next step, for the next inspired action. And all the while, trusting, letting go of the expectation or the insistence, thinking that you know how it's going to go, thinking that you need to be more involved than just the inspired action of your intuition that's guiding it, thinking that you need to place any limitations on it or protect yourself in any way, but just surrendering to the process and trusting that you are being guided down the path of least resistance. And that if you actually are receptive to that guidance and you act on that inspiration immediately, then you are given all that you need. The synchronicities, the opportunities, the relationships, everything falls into place in the perfect timing when you are in alignment with this path, consciously, deliberately honing and mastering these 4 keys. And that is when this becomes magic. For the power and the creativity and the imagination and all of the energy that is available to you as the creator, the conscious creator of your reality within this level of playing this game, within this paradigm, because this is the infinite intelligence of your true self. Because if you're seeing this and you're still watching this, then this is why you are here. This is the purpose of this life for you, is that you recognize that this period in your life, perhaps even this lifetime, is unlike any other moment, any other lifetime, where you have come to the boundaries of that previous level. You have come to the limits of that old familiar self. And you know that by stepping out into the unknown, stepping out beyond the familiar, that there is a whole new world of possibility that is uncertain. Maybe it's scary. Maybe it's intimidating. Maybe it's bringing up doubt and fear and a sense of unsafety. But all of those are actually now signposts that you're going in the right direction for you to awaken as your true self and to become the creator of your reality, to master the keys that are within you, and therefore to manifest your desired reality. And that is what attracts everything to you that is meant for you, effortlessly, easily, as a sort of game, because it is your true self awakening to more of who you truly are.